If you spend any time at all on TikTok, you've probably stumbled across the term cortisol face. It's one of those wellness trends that has absolutely exploded. But what is it really? And more importantly, is there any actual science to back it up? Well, let's get into it. This is the line you'll hear everywhere. The idea being pushed is pretty simple. That puffy, kind of swollen look you might see in the mirror isn't just a bad photo day. Nope, it's supposedly a sign that your stress hormones are all out of whack. And you can see why that's such a compelling idea, right? But the real question is, how much of this is medical fact and how much is just social media fiction? In this explainer, we're going to separate the hype from the actual health science.
All right, first things first, let's make sure we're all on the same page. What exactly is this cortisol face trend that's been getting millions and millions of views?
So the core claim is this. All that everyday stress we deal with is making our cortisol levels spike, and the direct result is that our faces get puffy and bloated. And of course, influencers are ready with all sorts of fixes, from weird facial exercises to a whole bunch of supplements. But before we even get into whether any of that works, we need to understand the main character in this whole story, cortisol itself. So yeah, what is cortisol, really? Because it turns out this hormone is way more complex and way more important than the trend makes it sound. It's not just some bad guy. Okay, so medically speaking, cortisol is a hormone made by your adrenal glands, those little guys that sit on top of your kidneys. And yes, its most famous job is helping your body respond to stress. That part of the story is true. I absolutely love this analogy from Dr. Priyanka Venugopal. She calls cortisol a superhero. See, it's a huge part of our fight or flight response. It's the hormone that gives you that jolt of energy when you feel a threat. Whether that threat is a crazy deadline at work or, as she puts it, a lion outside our cave.
But here's the thing that so many of these viral videos miss. Cortisol's job goes way beyond just stress. It's working for you 24/7. It helps control your blood sugar, regulate your metabolism, reduce inflammation. It even keeps your heart working the way it should. The point is, we literally need cortisol to function every single day.
Okay, so now that we get what cortisol actually does, let's put the TikTok trend right up against the medical reality. Is the stress from a tough week really giving people cortisol face? And this is where it gets really clear. On the left, you've got the vague, self-diagnosed cortisol face from social media. On the right, you have the actual medical condition it gets confused with, Cushing syndrome. And let me tell you, these are not the same thing. Cushing's is a rare, serious illness caused by abnormally high levels of cortisol over a long, long time. We're talking about causes like tumors or high-dose steroid medications, not a stressful job. And here's why that distinction is so critical. For someone with Cushing's, a rounded face, what doctors call a moon face, is just one symptom among many. They also deal with a whole range of other serious issues, like a fatty lump between their shoulders, deep stretch marks, muscle weakness, and high blood pressure. It's a complex syndrome, not just a single cosmetic issue. So if it's probably not cortisol face, what could be making your face a little puffy? Well, doctors will point you to much more common culprits. Things like seasonal allergies, maybe eating a little too much salty food, which makes you retain water, or honestly, the biggest one of all, just not getting enough sleep. Okay, so while cortisol face might be a bit of a myth, managing stress and supporting healthy cortisol levels, that is very real and very, very important. So let's look at what the science says actually works. And the good news is, the best methods are things that are totally accessible. Regular exercise, getting enough sleep, that's a huge one, and practices like mindfulness or meditation can all help regulate cortisol. And get this, here's a cool one. The simple act of naming your emotions, just saying, I am feeling stressed, has been shown to actually lower distress signals in your brain. Now, what about all those supplements you see being pushed online? Ashwagandha, magnesium, omega-3s. Well, while some small studies hint that they might help, the key takeaway from the scientific community is clear. A lot more research is needed. The studies so far have been pretty small, and supplements are definitely not a magic cure-all. And this all brings us to what might be the most important point of this whole topic: how we should all think about the health information we find online. This quote from endocrinologist Dr. Christy Turnmore really gets to the heart of it. A viral trend might be what gets you to notice something about your body, and that's okay. But your next step shouldn't be to buy whatever an influencer is selling. It should be to talk to a doctor.
Your concerns are valid, and they deserve a real professional medical opinion. So we'll leave you with this question to chew on. Cortisol face is just one of many, many trends that really blurs the line between wellness and misinformation. It highlights a huge challenge for all of us. How do we learn to listen to our bodies without falling for the next viral trap? It's definitely something to think about.
If you want to analyze medical questions yourself in seconds, using evidence-based medicine principles, the link to the service is below the video.